It's been a year since Brian passed away. And to be perfectly honest, I'm having some difficulty with saying goodbye. So as I was going through old photos and considering old memories of the times we spent together, I began to question the necessity for saying goodbye. I still reach for the phone on a regular basis to give him a call or send him a message or a text, which is what we did nearly every day for 50 years. In fact, I'm going to share some of those messages with you during this tribute to Brian. I know that it's very unlikely that many people will see this tribute I'm making, and that's okay. I hope only a few of the people that knew him and loved him watch this, because it's really a message to Brian. I can't get to him with the phone anymore, so I'm hoping I'll get a message to him through all the people that knew him, the little bits of Brian that exist in all of us who knew and loved him. We were friends for 50 years. We met the first day of 5th grade at the bus stop. We would go to 5th grade together, an all 6th grade school, junior high, high school, and then off to university together. We were playmates as kids, schoolmates, teammates, roommates in college, and ultimately workmates. We worked for the same company for a decade. Brian has been omnipresent in my life for half a century. And so I'm just trying to navigate the path ahead the best I can. It was quite a journey. From the very beginning, we were fast friends. And I'm keenly aware of the fact that this kind of friendship between two people is not that common, one that transcends decades, transcends triumphs and failures, tragedies and losses, marriages, children.
"59 years old and sleeping in. I like it. Happy birthday, old man. I'll call you later. Bye."
I started saving voicemails from Brian after he was diagnosed with carcinoid syndrome, the rare cancer that he fought so valiantly that would ultimately take his life. A lot of them I can't share with you because they're not politically correct, but some of them I was able to edit so that I could make them at least PG-13.
"Happy Valentine's Day to my favorite."
Oh my goodness. So many incredible recollections of things that we did and shared together as boys, academic achievement, athletic participation, soccer, and football. Basketball was another one I couldn't find a photo of. This is 6th grade in Mrs. Rafkin's class. You'll find us both in there. This is high school when we were in the California Scholarship Federation Club together.
"I hope you're enjoying your nap, you freaking..."
Oh my goodness. The license to speak to one another and say anything we wanted to, knowing always that we had each other's back and there wasn't anything we couldn't say to one another.
"Happy Friday. Are you engaged yet? Send me an Evite."
Brian and I, towards the end of our lives, after neither of us was still married anymore, used to make fun of the fact that we would never ever get married again, which is why engagement was such a source of humor between us. In fact, we had a running joke that if either one of us ever announced that we were engaged, it was the other one's duty and obligation to shoot him in the face. And then, of course, we shared all the stuff we did in our houses, and I did here on the ranch, all the work we did. I would always pick his brain. He was my technical go-to guy. Oddly enough, too, even editing these audios was a real challenge for me, and I repeatedly kept thinking I need to call Brian to get some guidance.
Hey, you figure out how to wire those lights yet? You doing what, 220, 221? What do you got there? Let me know if you need some help.
He also got a lot of joy out of teasing me about my new professional gig when I went back to teaching and began my professorship at Cal State Fullerton. He got a big kick out of the academic schedule.
You only work 2 days a week, half the year. It's not even an honest job. Get out of bed and go earn some money.
And of course, as you could well imagine, given the fact that Brian was so tall and me not so much, my height was always a real source of humor for him.
Hey, nice truck for sure. Who helps you get in and out of it every day?
Oh my goodness. So many adventures over the years. More often than not, whether it was good news or bad news, or just a funny story or anecdote, we would be one another's first call. I remember being on the phone with him while he was sheltering in place when the mass shooter broke into the Gilroy Garlic Festival and started killing people. And he stayed on the phone with me until they got the all clear. He used to come down for poker games. Brian would drive 400 miles to participate in the poker games that I hosted on the ranch. And it was always a wonderful weekend spending time with him. And every one of my buddies down here grew to love Brian. So many adventures from our past. This one reminds me of his 21st birthday. This isn't exactly that night, but it is right around the same era when the photo was taken. It was a night that he turned 21 and would ultimately end up finishing everybody's unfinished drink in the bar and then faceplant into a brick wall. I had to carry him home, throw him over my shoulder, and walk him up 2 flights of stairs. And if you know the disparity in our height, you probably are guessing that his toes and fingers were dragging on the ground. I think this was the weekend of my wedding, as a matter of fact. I remember Brian's appetite. My goodness, he was a big man and he could eat a great deal of food. There never seemed to be enough food available, and yet he always stayed trim. As we got older, we got to do more things together. Camping trips. That's Brian right there holding my daughter Faith. Paintball on the ranch. What a spectacular weekend. Oh, so much to share.
Just checking in to see if you're engaged to a woman.
You'll notice another theme in his humor, as, sophomoric men sometimes do.
Hopefully the weather's warm enough that some of your male students will be wearing short shorts and make your commute worthwhile. You must be in the attic. Or who knows? Maybe you're still in the closet. Wouldn't that be a shocker?
Oh my gosh. I still so much love listening to these messages I saved. Brian stood alongside of me at my wedding, and I stood alongside of him at both of his. I remember how his laughter could fill a room, or a stadium for that matter. He had such a huge, bold, loud laugh, and anyone who knew Brian knew that laugh. When he was laughing, there wasn't anyone within a 200-foot radius that didn't know he was enjoying himself. So many wonderful times together, so many adventures. And there's always his ever-present sense of humor that was usually at my expense.
Wake up and feed the horses, you lazy.
Although occasionally he would even make fun of himself.
Yo, just checking in to see how many women you're simultaneously entertaining for lunch today. And also to let you know that we had a biblical storm last night, and my day back as a pool boy is...
You know, another example of what a remarkable and courageous man Brian was, he was diagnosed with carcinoid syndrome, a rare, insidious, progressive, and chronic form of cancer, 17 years before he passed away. And at the time, there wasn't a whole lot of treatments available, and the prognosis for being around for much longer wasn't too good. But Brian fought with courage and ferocity and dignity in a way that I have never seen anybody else. I remember when I was with him at Cedars-Sinai, I drove him to the hospital for his surgery and stayed there for several days. And in the aftermath of that surgery, where they removed a significant portion of his lower intestines, he was in really bad shape. And I wasn't certain he was going to make it. But damned if he didn't muster the strength and the courage and the ferocity to fight back and spend so many more years afterwards still enjoying time with the people that he cared about. And through it all, Brian would find ways to make other people feel comfortable, because he knew it was an uncomfortable subject to talk about his illness. And so he would make fun of it himself to put other people at ease.
I am heading over to Kaiser for my big injection. So happy Friday. Everyone's taking it in the ass. Have a good one.
Brian, of course, was a big part of my daughter Faith's life as well. From the time she was a baby, he was a regular staple in her life. And she developed a genuine love for her Uncle Bowe, which is how she referred to him when she was old enough to name him, because she had another Uncle Brian, so she decided he was Uncle Bowe. And you can see the joy and laughter in her face there every time. Just chilling with Uncle Bowe in front of the TV. Brian used to make fun of me a lot for a number of reasons, waiting so long in life to have a child. So he would make fun of my age, and also the fact that perhaps I treated my daughter like a princess, and he got a big kick out of the additional duty and responsibility that I would take on just to make her happy. For example, when Faith went through her vegan phase, we couldn't shop and buy food at just any local grocery store. We had to go to specialty stores, and usually they were quite a ways or quite a distance from the house. And of course, I indulged my princess.
No doubt you're on your way to some very nice grocery store. Have a nice day.
And of course, the fact that I didn't have Faith till I was in my 40s meant that he could make fun of the fact that I was going to be working for a long time while she was still on the Papa Dole.
Wake up and get to work. Your adult daughter needs health insurance.
And of course, I would always call Brian when there was a new would-be suitor hovering around the ranch to spend time with my daughter. And I would describe these young men to Brian, and he would immediately come up with a nickname for them, most of which I can't share with any of you. But here's one that I can share.
Yo, how'd it go with Slim Jim? Were you the pleasant papa, or did you make me proud?
You know, I know that if Brian were here, or if he could get a message to me at this stage, and he saw that I was having a hard time, he would tell me something along the lines of, take my skirt off and stop whining like a little girl and get back to business. Something along the lines of this.
When are you going to get off your ass and do something meaningful with your life? Fuck's sake.
I told you that I've been having some difficulty with how to say goodbye, and that I began to question whether it was necessary to say goodbye. Because I realized as I was going through all of these photos, and so many more that I could take up hours of your time, which I will not do, and recalling all these wonderful life experiences we shared over 50 years of friendship, I realized that I don't have to say goodbye. Because as long as I remember him, as long as I talk about him, as long as I relive those recollections in my mind, then he's not really gone. He's still with me. And so I choose not to say goodbye. I choose to remember. I choose to remember all of these stories I've shared with you and all the ones that I haven't. I choose to remember the incredible friendship and closeness that we shared over half a century. And I will not say goodbye. I will remember that my life has been and will always be profoundly enriched for having loved him and been loved by him. So instead of goodbye, I will remember all of those things every day until the day I die. And on that day, I will say hello. Hello, my friend. I've missed you.